Blinking is one of the most reliable body language indicators ever. If I talk to somebody who's being deceptive, their blink rate can go up to like a 75, 80 without us even knowing it. One of those questions to determine how guilty you are is if you're questioning someone, you raise the stakes right before you ask the question. All of these facial expressions you can see in a 3-month-old baby. And this works on kids, it works on adults, it doesn't matter. If they're lying, they're going to do worse.
Have you seen footage of Wade Wilson on the stand? This is the Deadpool killer.
No?
Yeah, here we go.
And it owes their families,
So
and it
stop
owes
real.
our families.
So one thing that you'll see, especially in men, when we want to show defiance and that I'm not scared of you, like if we're about to get in a fight and I'll be like, what?
You show
And
your neck.
Yeah. So we'll like expose the arteries. Look, you'll see the arms come out like this.
I'm not scared of you.
Yeah. So like I'm exposing arteries. So this is almost like a display of absolute lack of fear.
All right, let's keep going.
Is it a decision that's solely left up to you if you want to address the court or not?
Not today.
Okay.
All right, pause that. So what you saw, like right before he was talking, you saw the lip licking.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hygienic gesture to improve his appearance there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You didn't see him lean forward or anything. He's trying to maintain some kind of control in the situation. He probably thrives on a lot of autonomy and just knowing that he's kind of self-governing a little bit. You didn't see him blinking at all during that process. One of the interesting things about blinking is one of the most reliable body language indicators ever studied. And it's cool because we spend our time looking at people's eyes throughout our conversation. One of the fastest ways to get a read on another human being is how often they're blinking. And if a person is blinking fast, it's a sign of high stress. Mm-hmm. If they're blinking really slow, it's a sign of focus. So if I talk to a psychopath in an interrogation room or in a business negotiation and they're very focused on prey, their blink rate will almost be a 0. If I talk to somebody who's being deceptive, their blink rate can go up to like a 75, 80 without us even knowing it. So one of the reasons that blink rate is so reliable is that it's unconscious. We don't realize the shifts in blink rate and we don't manually control it very well. If I'm in a conversation, I'm going to start the conversation and say, is the blink rate normal? Does it look fast? Does it look slow? So what I'm really looking for in human behavior are changes.
There's a friend of yours, and he basically tried to figure out if this girl has been with someone the previous day because she went out with some friends.
Or if she was being deceptive.
What are the things that you saw in that girl and what went down where you're like, okay, something's up here?
He asked her, did anything happen last night? And right away, there was an increase in blink rate. There was pupil dilation, and there was sclera exposure. The white of the eye got exposed above up here.
Meaning the eyes widened.
The eyes widened like this. Next, the lips drew horizontally backwards, and this is a fear response. All of these facial expressions you can see in a 3-month-old baby. Like if you have a newborn baby and like you let it think that the baby's falling, like you lower it really quickly, you'll see that movement. So the next movement is this little muscle jumps out in front of the carotid artery to protect your arteries. It's a sternocleidomastoid muscle. And we saw all of that. So we saw increased blink rate, pupil dilation, scleral exposure with the eyes widening, mouth going back towards the face, and the sternocleidomastoid muscles, and vocal hesitation. She paused more than every other question that he asked her. And we saw a lack of pronouns. And a sudden lack of pronouns is a very good indicator. And I mean sudden. If the person never uses pronouns, then it's worthless. First couple of questions, she says, I did this, and then we went to do this, and then we went to a restaurant, and then I did this, and both of us did this. And then he said, what happened last night? Or what happened after that? And she goes, well, went home, watched a movie, went to bed.
Instead of we went, I went.
There's no we, there's no I. All the pronouns disappear. And that's a very reliable deception indicator. And all those indicators that I just talked about, that giant mountain, happened in less than 4 seconds. Do you know what makes nonverbal behavior come out of a person during a lie?
I don't.
Stakes. Let's say we have a person over here, we have another person over here. You and I are just the observers. And we slide this person over here a picture of a duck. And underneath it, it says, your job is to convince this person that you're looking at a horse. Okay? And they're like, okay, I see a horse and it's got a tail, and this person over here is going, yeah, what? what does that tail look like? What color is that tail? Like, it's brown like the rest of the horse, and he's got a mane. No stakes. It's like if they fail this thing, it's not a big deal. The reason that we talk about these indicators of deception is because A, there is not one indicator of deception. It doesn't exist. There are no deceptive body language cues. What we're really seeing is stress. And we experience stress when there's stakes, there's something on the line. So if you're ever at a party or something and you want to like play that game with someone, if you put something on the line, you're much more likely to increase the stakes, which increases those stress output behaviors. So as a quick tip for the audience, if you're questioning someone and you're building up to that one big question, you raise the stakes right before you ask the question. So I might say something like, Jack, we've done 2 podcasts together now. I've gotten to know you a lot. I like you as a person, which is why I want to say, before I ask this question and before you answer it, I want you to think very, very carefully about your answer. And that raises the stakes. That's making the question vitally important. And I didn't need to do much.
Would that make a person do better or worse? Or does it depend?
If they're lying, they're going to do worse. If we're over the phone, it's a little more difficult to tell when somebody's lying. But what I want to listen for are changes. So if they've always taken half a second to respond, I'm going to wait. And now that all of a sudden they take 1 or 2 seconds, that's a change. There are no behaviors for deception. What we're spotting are stress and cognitive load. So stress meaning I need more time to think about this, or cognitive load meaning I have 3 or 4 stories in my head I'm going to feed the salesperson, so I need to sift through those first, and it's going to take me a little extra time. I'm talking to this person for 5 minutes, and they've always used this phrase or said this one thing, and all of a sudden their vocabulary shifts, or the speed of their language slows down or speeds up. So it's so much more beneficial to look for change than these little lists of behaviors that people try to spit out there. Oh, he's hesitating or on this. But what if he hesitated every single time? Then you no longer need to look for hesitation. So just looking for change is what's really important. And you're not looking for, is he lying? You might look for, this is a data point that needs attention.
Once you know somebody's,
Likely concealing.
it's another way to actually get the information out.
This is where elicitation, those techniques of using statements, is not enough. Now it's time to actually have a confrontation. And you need to say something that says was off about that. Say you robbed a house. One of those questions to determine how guilty you are is one of my favorite questions in the world. It's called the bait question. Let's say you stole a bike out of this person's garage a couple days ago. I called you up and was like, hey, I think you might have seen something that's going to help us in the case. Could you please come in here and talk to us about the case? You come in and I say, Chris, dude, thank you for coming in. This is important to us. We've got officers out there that they've been working all through the night, collecting evidence and stuff. I just want to ask you one question, and you seem like a really good guy. So I want you to think really carefully before you answer this. Is there any reason whatsoever that one of the neighbors would have a Ring doorbell camera that shows your vehicle in that area? So now you're confronted with a dilemma of, if I say no and he whoops out a video, now I'm a liar and they probably know that I did this. If I say yes, I'm placing myself at the scene of the crime, right? And the cool thing is that someone who's innocent would be like, nope. And it would be instantly, they would have no hesitation. They'd have tons of confidence of, nope, there's absolutely no reason. So that's one of those kind of setup questions. And another
That's
one,
regardless of whether you've got the Ring doorbell footage or not.
Yes, and I don't say that I have it.
Is there any reason why?
Yes. Is there any reason that one of the officers would have received some Ring doorbell or some doorbell video camera footage that shows your vehicle in that area? Mm-hmm. Not you do anything bad. And another one is another great question. I can't reveal all of these, but another great question is called the punishment question. And this works on kids. It works on adults. It doesn't matter. And it's just a few words long. I would say, what do you think should happen to the person that did this? And you always get amazing answers. I'll give you my kid's example. And this is from when they were 7 and 8, give or take. I came home from work and we had a white living room rug, and there's like a little cardboard thing of chocolate milk just like sitting on its side, and there's like a little pool of chocolate milk on the carpet. And they were both playing the Xbox. The milk's like right there, a few feet away. I was like, what the hell, guys? They're like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, did you guys do this? And they're like, nope. And I said, all right, William, kitchen, Charlotte, dining room.
Fucking prisoners dilemmaed them.
Yeah. And I went over to Charlotte. Yeah, it was Charlotte. And I said, Charlotte, what do you think should happen to the person that did this? And she goes, spankings, grounded, no more Xbox, can't play with the friends, no more sleepovers, can't eat in the living room anymore. It just goes on and on. I was like, okay, all right.
It's a kid's equivalent of capital punishment.
Yeah. And I was like, damn. So I went to William and I said, Will, what do you think should happen to the person that did this? He goes, maybe no more chocolate milk in the living room. And there we go. I had my guy really quick.